Let's hit the go live. Make sure everything sounds all right. How's everybody doing today? Let's hit the go live. Make sure everything sounds all right. Okay, we sound good. YouTube's just catching up. Alrighty, everybody. We'll allow some people to gather, but for the folks in VOD land, not Liveville, what the hell are you looking at? We have some replays here to cast. Last week or so, I presented to my rat ogres, who are any new player that's on our Discord. I suppose I should do that spiel right at the start here. If you want to participate in any new player events or anything like that, left screen. You can go to my Discord. It is linked in the description. You can go to Give Rat Ogre Roll, ask for the roll, and you can get it, like all these people here. And then that gives you access to a list of coaches you can ask about each faction and stuff, a practice pit, hell pit chat, things like that. But yeah, it also gives you access to new player events. We run a new player tournament every week, but this was something a little different, a little special. We did a DLC giveaway. So it was King of the Hill, but 2v2, so a little special. Longshanks and Dr. Nerd are both new players. Let's say they were doing this. They would pair up with someone from the coach list or just Bone Rippers, which are people that have won new player tournaments, so more veteran players. So any new player can ask a veteran player to help them in a 2v2. Whoever wins that 2v2 becomes the king of the hill, and if they can hold that hill for 3 games, I would give them a DLC. Now, the new player is the king of the hill. They can swap out their partner as, like, scheduling. Hi, Dr. Nerd. As scheduling allows and stuff, like, let's say I was Dr. Nerd's partner, and we won game 1. Hooray! But then game 2, he sets up with another new player, and I'm not around at that moment in time. He could ask any other experienced player to help him out. So it's a 2v2 king of the hill, but it's centered around the new player. Whoever wins 3 in a row gets a DLC. These games have already been played, because I was doing a bit of a schedule at your leisure as you are available thing. So it's like, well, if you're the king, then just ping people when you're around, and whoever's around to fight you will. At least the replays are live. True, Turgid. Easy. Alright. So we do have replays. I won't reveal how many, but we will get started. I do have to go back to work once we're done streaming this, so there can't be a lot of faffing about. The first games were between myself, paired with RTK's Nurgle's PA on the Dwarves, and I was playing High Elves. And our opponents were Mars Pattern and the Coolest Guy. He switches his names a lot on different platforms. I'm going to just call him the one I most see him as, the Coolest Guy playing Greenskins. So Mars Pattern, Nurgle's PA are the newer players, quote unquote, and Coolest Guy and Mars Pattern. Wait, Coolest Guy and myself are the more veteran. We have an ancient pair up between the High Elves and the Dwarves before the War of the Beard, or the War of Vengeance, whatever you want to call it. They were friends, so we're rekindling that fire. I'll put it on slow-mo, because there's a lot of army to go through. I do have an Archmage of Fire on a Moon Dragon. I wanted Burning Head versus Slaanesh. Slaanesh has very low armor, so do the Greenskins, so Burning Head was going to be a nice infantry clearing tool. And then versus demons, like Demonettes, the Burnt debuff would be good for getting rid of them. So, brought that. I have 2 Rangers. I just had some extra gold. Brought those. We're mostly relying on Dwarven infantry. 1 Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower I use just to prevent any like Spirit Leech or regen shenanigans. Just wanted to keep our enemies a little honest. Frostheart Phoenix paired up with my Moon Dragon for a good single entity core. Do have 4 Illyrian Reaver Princes. Wait, 4 Illyrian Reavers, 2 Dragon Princes, one of which is a Fireborn, and I do have the Rahagra's Pride. Good armor piercing and stuff, but also wanted that Mighty Roar to lower the leadership of demons so they start crumbling, or Greenskins so they start running. My ally, the Dwarves, have 2 Gyrocopters, both with Brimstone guns, a stalwart front line of Longbeards, Slayers, Longbeards, more Dwarf Warriors, Miners with Blasting Charges, and then for a little bit of firepower, we do have Bugman's Rangers and Thunderers. Thork Ironbrow with a helpful little Thane to protect him. So that's us. For our opponents, Slaanesh and the Greenskins, pretty hardcore rush. We have a bunch of Chaos Furies, some Marauder Horsemen for a little bit of skirmishing, Devoted Marauder frontline, Exalted Demonek secondary. It looks like 3 of them, including the Bringer's Beguilement. 1 Chaos Knight, Herald of Slaanesh, which does give the plus 12 melee attack to both armies, I believe, whenever she casts. And for the Greenskins, a whole bunch of Orc Boys, Goblins, Squigs, Trolls, the stuff you're used to seeing. 1 Orc Armor Boy, I guess, just to keep us a little honest, and then some Orc Boar Boy Biggins, plus Wurzag for his buffs that affect both armies as well. Alright. Some Furies attack my Archmage and my fellows Gyrocopters. We're not particularly worried about that, and we are just puppy guarding the Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers. We're like, go on, land, do it. See what happens. See what happens, Furies, as these Furies already suffer a terrible fate. Demonic Disability crumbling after fighting the Gyrocopters for just a little bit. Other Gyrocopters are already sniping out some of the Greenskin stuff. My Cavalry tries to take a fight right next to the edge of the map, push off these Marauder Horsemen of Slaanesh, but they're on top of their shit and get away from me. Meanwhile, Blasting Charges push off some Devoted Marauders, and my Lord is going to kill yet another Chaos Fury. As these Furies tried to land in the Bugman's Rangers, now they're trying to get away, but they will start Demonic Instability crumbling in no time. Laren Reaver is going to get overwhelmed, but I do try and snipe out the Herald of Slaanesh here. My Fireborn are surrounding her, locking her in place, and hoping to get out a bunch of damage. She's going to try and free herself. Elsewhere, the Greenskin Slaanesh front line have collided with the Dwarves, already pressing through to the Midas Blast Charges, and my precious High Elves get caught napping a little bit as my Micro is on the other half of the battlefield. So my Cavalry does get caught sitting completely still. We're still trying to snipe out the Herald of Slaanesh, but she has entirely deleted my Laren Reavers. Dragon Princes are somewhere. They're in here still rampage. And I'm going to use a big Burning Head, try and take out 2 different Exalted Demonettes. Good little dodge from my opponent there. Still trying to kill that Herald of Slaanesh, proving much more difficult than I had anticipated to kill her off. Moondragon thinks about diving in, then decides against it because of the rampage that's down on the ground. Left flank for the Dwarves and the High Elves is collapsing a little bit. Greenskins pushing in over there. Rahaga's Pride got through the center and are now just harassing the Orc Armor Boys as they routed off stuff. Frostheart Phoenix is also helping to route, so the front is going great for us. The left flank has fallen apart, and the right flank is still contested. My Fireborn get killed off by all these Demonettes, and the Herald of Slaanesh took surprisingly little damage from my snipe attempt. I was very disappointed in the Dragon Princes over there. Another Fury lands on some Thunderers, but I'll quickly sweep it away with the Dragon. We'll get it crumbling so fast before you can even blink. Frostheart Phoenix is going to aid against the stone Trolls and these Orc Boar Boy Biggins, just trying to lower their melee attack, provide some terror, maybe snipe out Wurzag a little bit and protect Thoric. Furies are gone, and we're back in action. Herald of Slaanesh is down to half HP. Wurzag is full. And we do have to Lord Snipe the Greenskins and Slaanesh if we're going to have a chance. Their leadership is quite precious to both of their factions. Moondragon might be coming over here to do the same for Wurzag. I honestly don't remember. This game was a long time ago. Wurzag sitting down here. Looks like I go for a nice breath attack onto him. Get some decent damage. Yeah, decent. Not great, but decent. Stone Trolls are routed off. So far, Thoric is nice and safe. My Frostheart Phoenix continues to duel with Wurzag. The rest of the battlefield starts to go to shit for us, though. There's just too many. There's too many! Dwarves and Elves are overrun. My Cavalry getting caught on the left flank at the start was a massive blunder that is really costing us. I'm continuing on the Lord Snipe. I believe Thoric is trying to handle Wurzag, though Wurzag got away, and I'm after this Herald of Slaanesh, who I just cannot, for the life of me, kill off. I've been trying so hard. Exalted Demonettes take a little bit more damage from the Burning Head, once again. Moondragon's coming back over. Quickly getting whittled down to just our single entities, though. The Frostheart Phoenix, Thoric, all of them. Another Wah comes in from the Greenskins as a metric shit ton of infantry pile in. Balance power shifting against the Order Tide, and I do tend to agree. My Moondragon, trying to figure out what to be doing right now. Just kind of flying above the Greenskins like, oh god, what's going on? I think that's what I was waiting for. I believe there's a breath attack coming for this giant blob that's forming. I was waiting on that a little bit. Nice breath attack, gets some decent damage down. Not incredible, but it did fine. Gyrocopter still firing at the Herald of Slaanesh, who is almost dead, and she overcasts by being next to Thoric when she casts. She is going to kill herself off. Demonic Instability is coming in hot for you. She was negative for a long time, but managed not to Demonic Instability. Damn. There, another shot from the Gyrocopters will take her out, so Slaanesh takes a bit of a leadership spike. I throw down a huge Burning Head in this area, paired with a Rune of Wrath and Ruin. and then dive in for a big terror bomb, trying to bail Thoric and the Frostheart Phoenix out of this situation, but only the Goblins tear out. Everything else somehow manages to hold. Greenskins apparently with stronger leadership than I had reckoned. Narcissism from the Slaanesh Tier 2 army ability, locking the Moondragon in place. And Wurzag's even so confident that he's charging back in. And I think there's just too many red health bars around as the end comes for the poor High Elves and Dwarves. Moondragon gets torn apart by the Demonettes and all these cavalry that are around. She gets pushed off, and with that, army losses will hit. And Mars Pattern will be our first King of the Hill. Militant? True. Who won the DLC? Umbrella, that would be spoilers! Umbrella, that would be huge spoilers. So, my Dragon Lord got pretty good value. 3,100. Not ashamed of that at all. The Fireborn, despite isolating and surrounding Mars Pattern's Lord, did not get a lot of value. Paired with her Locus of Grace, and then Demonettes coming to aid. Also Fireborn just disappointing me yet again. Lyran Reavers, half of them got caught, the other half just bad decisions on my part. So I didn't play it particularly well. I had a lot of criticisms of my own play at the time. Gyrocopters for Nurgle's PA did great. Thoric did fine. His Dwarven frontline tried to hold. They were just, 2v1'd. So they fell apart. Side of Mars Pattern. His Lord provided a lot of good buffs. Demonettes did great. Exalted Demonettes, I should say. His Chaos Knights were still healthy in the late game, which is good. Furies did what Furies do and die. And that's about it. I really did like the double lore buff stacking of Wurzag plus Slaanesh, the lore of Slaanesh. It was just a ton of melee attack for their whole army, so that was a good combo. Stone Trolls and Orc Boar Boy Biggins did great. Orc Boys and Goblins did their part, and these archers did fine. GG. No Tier Knock to Chariot, Sag. Yeah. Rip in peace. So Mars Pattern has won one game. If he can go 3-0, he will get a DLC. But let's see. Round 2 is challenged by someone. Sipa is a more veteran player. Aerodactyl 6 is the other name of Coolest Guy. So Mars Pattern hung out with Coolest Guy. They stayed together as a dream team. Sipa is the more veteran player of this duo, and I forget who's playing Norska here. I forget it doesn't show me in the thing. All right. Once again, slow it down. Just so we can get the cast out of the way. Am I allowed to know who Wulfric? No, it just says Wulfric the Wanderer. Okay. I don't get to know who this is. We'll find out at the end of the game. Alright. I don't know who this Norscan player is. It's bothering me. Hold on. I can't let this stand. Blocker's going back up. I need to know who this Norscan player is. I forgot it's not on the loading screen for some reason. It's GGX Soul God. Who the heck is GGX Soul God? I don't recognize that name at all. I think he has a different Discord name than his Steam name, because I would recognize a name like that. That's a badass name. Alright. Nurgle pairs quite well with Greenskins, I think. Nurgle gives the healing and strong foot on ground with Greenskins keeps their high DPS, give better healing. Yeah, 2v2 has a lot of cool combos. I'm getting a lot of pings. Okay. Anyway, now that we know that this is GGX Soul God on Norska, what do we have? For Norska, we have a pretty strong mobile component with the Maws of Savagery, Armored Skinwolves, plus normal Skinwolves, Beasts of Tashnar, and 2 Norscan Ice Wolves. That's about it for their mobile presence. Then we have a front line of Marauders and Marauder Champions, paired up with Bretonnia. Oh, I suppose that makes sense. Norska brings a nice sturdy front line. Bretonnia brings archers, and then you both have really good mobile games. I guess I get that. We have 2 Norse controls. I'm a well-known troll hater, but they're here, so I accept them, I guess. Wulfric the Wanderer on his Mammoth, a rare sighting indeed, and a Shaman Sorcerer of Metal with Glittering Robe, interestingly enough, and then Plague of Rust and Searing Doom. For his Bretonian ally, these two would never fucking pair up. Like, under zero circumstance would these guys ever pair up. Norska constantly raids Bretonia. Lewin specifically, because he's in the far north. This shit would never happen, but okay. That's fine. They have some peasants to contribute to the infantry corps, a whole bunch of peasant bowmen, and then, of course, cavalry. King Lewin Leoncoeur himself, Royal Hippogriff Knights, a Damsel of Life with Regrowth. Oh. Regrowth on Mammoth, Wulfric. I see what you're going for. You wanted to have a much larger health pool, because regrowth is percentage-based. All right, you crafty, crafty Bretonians. I see you. Ooh, and Grail Reliques. Grail Reliques buffing up Norskins. Is that a Norskin troll with ITP or whatever? Fuck you. There we go. Yeah! Norskin trolls with ITP! Oh, the combinations. The craftiness of these players. Anyway, we also have Grail Knights, Defenders of Fleur-de-Lis, and the Knights of the Lionhearted. Jeremy, I don't hate anybody except for people that I hate. Anyway, on the other side, is it the same army? It is. This is the same army. They're running it back. They said we won game 1, why not just do it again? Literally the same army as far as the Greenskins and Slaanesh are concerned. I don't see any differences at all. Bretonia colonized Norska? Yeah, they wouldn't be friends. Orc boys getting dove on by Lewin and his lads. Looks like they're just going for free damage since all the Greenskin cavalry is so far away. There's nothing you can do about it, though. They do have to wonder about Wurzag walking up and just effigy to getting down the Royal Hippogriff Knights in front of Stone Trolls. That could be bad. There's the effigy to get, but is it in time? No, they get up into the sky. And it was actually onto... Ooh, it was onto Lewin, not the Hippogriffs. A little bit of a blunder there. Greenskins and Slaanesh still doing their usual division of labor. It looks like they're splitting up right and left flanks and just focusing on one side of the battlefield rather than intermingling like Norska and Bretonia are. So Norska is piling into this front line right now. They should do pretty well, partially because they don't rely on heavy melee defense, so the extra melee attack the Greenskins are getting won't help them that much. Because Norska focuses on doing damage back to you rather than resisting damage at all. Knights of the Lionhearted and Skinwolves pairing up to stop the Slaanesh advance. It'll work for now. They are going to take a bit of damage in return. The Herald of Slaanesh is here, probably going to pop her Locust of Grace and give these Chaos Knights pretty insane melee defense, as more Bretonians are coming over to say hello. On the far side, Grail Knights, Lewin and his Hippogriffs are doing some pretty good terror. But I do want to see this. Defenders of Fleur-de-Lis pile into the Bringer's Beguilement, taking about half their HP on the charge, and they just roll straight through them before turning around and going back to deal with the Chaos Fairies. Land on dogs, but they will die very swiftly, as did the Knights of the Lionhearted. They did not have a good time. Archers in the backfield are getting compromised now. The central fight appears to be going to the Greenskins. That is a lot of trolls. Their infantry has all run away, but they have 2 stone trolls and some orc boar biggins pushing through here. The Damsel of Life is actually close to routing, and Wulfric is just trying to stay alive in this as well. Shaman Sorcerer of Metal doing nothing to help either of them, as the Damsel does rout if the Greenskins can actually finish off that caster. That would be huge in the implications of this game. Bretonia is holding that left flank, if you take it from this perspective. Bretonia is holding the left flank pretty good. Their knights are hanging in there for now. Archers still firing in, but it looks tenuous at best. Frontline for Norska. It's winning over here, but the main central fight and this right flank, Norska has completely lost the plot. They're just getting torn apart and bodied, unfortunately. They dealt some decent damage back, but once you start routing, you don't stop routing, and you don't stop routing, and you don't stop routing, and you don't stop routing. Hey now, you're a Norskin. Get your rage on, go fight. Hey now, you're a Norskin. No DLC for you. All that howls are wolves. Everything's a wolf when you play Norska. I'm done. I promise I'm done. Anyway, Orc Armor Boys punishing Wulfric a little bit. Knights of Bretonia trying to just valiantly hold the line, but there's too many unwashed bodies as the Greenskins pour past them. The Peasant Bowmen are already completely engage at all fronts. None of them are really safe to sit and shoot. Royal Hippogriff Knights, don't know what happened to my camera there. Royal Hippogriff Knights get a regrowth as, hey, the damsel lived. That is another part about 2v2s, is there's so much shit going on that players and caster alike can't keep track of, like, all the stuff that's routing, so important things will route and come right back. Herald of Slaanesh is hanging on, but she is surrounded by Marauder champions at the moment, which actually could be a huge problem for her. Some trolls with good leadership, trying to get far enough away that they can rally and come back. Wolfric's hanging out next to Lewin. He could use a regrowth if one can be spared at any point, but we'll see. It's a bounce power shifting against the green team. Green and blue, not the green skins. They're red, because of reasons. What a time to start watching that was. Hey, Vanthus, how you doing, man? An unfortunate Hunter of Champions popped onto Wurzag, but there is no follow-up for it whatsoever. Maws of Savagery are rejoining with the Bretonnian side, and it seems like Bretonnia and Norsca are doing their best to get a little base of security down here, as they've completely abandoned the north side of the battlefield right now. That's going to utter shit. Though, I can't even say they have that much strength down here. Most of their balance of power is held up in Lewin being full HP. Effigy to get, holding down those Hippogriff Knights, the couple that are still in melee combat with these Orc Boar Boy Biggins. There's not the most follow-up onto that, but it'll still be a good spell for Wurzag to cast as we have Furies and Chaos Knights coming in. Wolfric, what are you doing? Glittering Robe, giving you a 130 armor mammoth? That's cool, except everything you're fighting is armor piercing, my friend. Slaanesh and Greenskins are pretty good at that whole armor piercing thing. It's looking doomed. Grail Knights are back. Decent amount of health on them, considering how long the game is gone. But everywhere I look, there's just so many red health bars. I think like the sheer mass of the red team is gonna win it. Because what can Lewin do? He's full health, but what can he honestly do about the situation that's going down? Yeah. Narrative voice, but alas, he was far from done. Anyway. Might edge towards the fast forward button, as this looks a little hopeless. Lewin's going for a Lord Snipe. Ah, no, he's just going to snipe some Snow Trolls? No, where are you going? It just fucks off! He was done with this shit too, he's like, you know what, this is screwed, I hate it. Alright, Mars Pattern. Again, Mars Pattern is the new player here, so if he wins one more, I owe that man a DLC. Going through them quickly, Lewin, wow, did not get a lot of value, unfortunately. Hippogriff Knights did okay. Grail Knights, oof, struggled. A lot of the Knights struggled. Knights Errant did fine, but the rest, Archers did okay. And then the Peasants fell apart. For Soul God, Wolfric struggled to get value back. Marauder Champions, oof, they did well. They did well. Trolls did not. Trolls got pushed away immediately. Dogs didn't do great either. It was just a tough one, apparently. For Mars Pattern, his Exalted Demonettes, not doing as much work as they did versus the High Elves and Dwarves. It looks like his Cavalry brought up some of that slack. Fury's also getting good value for like the first time in their lives, and Marauders did okay. For Aerodactyl / Cool Sky, whatever you want to call him, his Orc Boar Boy Biggins continuing to do great work. Stone Trolls did fine. And then Orc Boys and Goblins, they existed. Like, their massive bodies was important in its own way. How close are we to Legend of Total War? He has 3,000 watching him. We have 30, so we're 1% of the way there. But we can do it. Game 3. Is this the final game? Is this it? Dick. Hang on. Hang on. When I click on the replay, it shows all 4 player names. So I should announce who the players are before I hit load, because otherwise I can only see the 2 armies immediately on the screen. And that's not fair. Because someone wants to be excited about their replay, and then if I don't announce it's them, that kind of sucks ass. So 1 second. It is Mars Pattern and Ian Zero. Okay. So we have a switch up. Coolest guy must not have been available. Mars Pattern on Slaanesh teaming up with Ian Zero for the Greenskin. Still sticking with that Greenskin Slaanesh combo. And the other side is the Phoenix King teaming up with Deft on High Elves and the Warriors of Chaos. Alright, so here we are. Can the Phoenix King and Deft defeat these two and keep the stream going? Or will the Greenskin Slaanesh combo prove fallible at last? Though, without Coolest Guy to pilot them, Ian Zero is a new participant here. Will he have the same fire? Already I see a different build. No, I lost the red. Mars! Mars! Mars, you can't just come in here and say what happens. God damn it. Alright. So ignoring Mars in the chat, we have two Marauder Horsemen of Slaanesh. So it looks like Mars brought the same Slaanesh build he's been sticking with. But his new Greenskin ally did switch up things. More archers, namely 3 Goblin Archers. The Rusty Arrows, Night Goblin, ROR Archer with their Armor Sundering. 4 Squig Herds, 2 Stone Trolls, 2 Savage Orc Boarboy Biggins, still Wurzag, the Hammer of Gork. So a lot more Daka from this Greenskin build, and a lot less frontline. There's no Orc Boys, just Goblins. Death Creeper Spider Riders too. Mars, it's fine to be a one-trick pony, but don't fucking spoil things. Alright, on the other side for Deft and the Phoenix King, Chaos brought 2 Skirmish Cav with Throwing Axes, 2 Poison Warhounds. Pretty heavy metal backline. Double Chaos Knights hanging out with Archaon the Everchosen. Some Chaos Warriors and more Chaos Warriors, some of them have halberds. For the Phoenix King, we have Silver Helms, Spearmen across the front line, some Rangers as well. Ooh, Doom Knights of Tzeentch that I missed. Dragon Princes, 3 of them, and a Mage of Life who has her work cut out for her, and Imric. So the Mage is going to want to heal all 3 of these Dragon Princes, Archaon, both Chaos Knights, the Doom Knights of Tzeentch, and maybe even Chaos Warriors. Good luck. Alright, Vanguard Shenanigans immediately set off. And Chaos Warhounds tackle some Skirmish Cav with Slaanesh, though. It looks like they're not taking as much damage as they would have because the Skirmish Cav didn't actually have attack orders onto them just yet. But Vein of Slaanesh might make these Skirmish Cav rampage back into the fight. Dog's already going to rout. And Slaanesh is going super hard on this flank. The Greenskins are like, wait, what? We started? Shit. And they start moving forward as Slaanesh. Slaanesh are the worst Chaos, and Imric just boom, smash into each other, and it's a complete fucking mess. Slaanesh is popping some spells, meanwhile Archaon chucks a burning head down the line, but god damn, these armies didn't wait to get into it at all. Greenskin's taking a much more measured approach as they waddle forward towards the heavily armored front line of Chaos. It just takes more time to get over there. But this down here is a fucking mess. Slaanesh has some routing stuff, some stuff disintegrating away. On the side of Chaos, I'm not seeing too many casualties just yet. Some Marauder Horsemen running away, Silver Helms running away a little bit too, but everything else is sticking in the fight for now. Archaon chased off the Herald of Slaanesh, and Imric does pop his Vuvuzela of Doom. I thought I heard it. He canceled it with his own breath attack. Okay, he'll pop it again in a second. So Greenskin's getting stuck in. They're doing pretty good damage to the Chaos backline. Meanwhile, the Deaf Creepas and Orc Boarboy Biggins are able to, Savage Orc Boarboy Biggins, take out those Doom Knights. So pretty good trades for the Greenskins on the top side, as Slaanesh just goes man mode and fights the rest of this battle on their own. Silverhelm's the Dragon Prince is getting a nice Earthblood, and Imric is trying to hold the line, but his Dragon Princes are falling apart under the attack of the Chaos Knights of Tzeentch, and probably these Bringers of Beguilement are doing a lot of work. They just have really jacked and good stats. Where's the Herald of Slaanesh? Okay, she's over here helping out. More Chaos Knights taking a lot of damage, so now we're starting to see... Oh, Chaos is taking a ton of damage. Look at all that stuff falling apart on the top side. A lot of their infantry are retreating, and down here the cavalry has taken a real beating. Bounce power is dead even, and I would tend to agree. Both sides got some good things going for them. Doom Knights continuing to be a pain in the ass, though, in the backfield. They'll shut down the Hammer of Gorks. The Death Creepers try and push them off. And Chaos Knights, ooh, no, Marauder Horsemen. Those are even less of a target for Savage Orc Boarboy Biggins. They'll just get crushed. Northern flank for Chaos is falling completely apart. Even the High Elves are routing with their notoriously high leadership. They couldn't hold against Slaanesh and Greenskin buffed up Squigs and Goblins and such. Herald of Slaanesh trying to bail out this last fight. Her Bringers of Beguilement, though, are about to fall apart, and she'll want to be careful, doesn't want to get too close. She's trying to snipe that Damsel of Life, but with Archaon and Imric both bearing down on her. She needs to get out. It looks like she realizes that she's running away. But a Spirit Leech and a very sudden slowdown. I don't know why she stopped dead in her tracks, but it allowed Archaon to catch up to her. Spirit Leech also hits her, and she's trying to get over to these Stone Trolls, who are going to intercept. So nice little bodyguards there, popping right in, and something's getting cast on them. Locust of Grace and Fists of Gorg. Those are some juice Stone Trolls. 82 melee defense. They don't give a fuck. And Archaon is now stuck in the middle of it as Imric's Dragonhorn tries to get him out. Finally, the Red Alliance is starting to win this southern fight. Northern fights... It was decided for the Greenskins a while ago, but now it looks like most of their forces have come down here, so it's looking... Yes, there are more red forces up here, but it's mostly a lost cause, so just both sides abandoned it. Greenskins are sending down their victorious forces to aid the southern fight, and it is a slow push down here. Wurzag threw out a Gaze of Mork that unfortunately missed, but it still got what it needed. It buffed up his whole army, as it was meant to do. The Herald of Slaanesh was teaming up with some Stone Trolls to fight Archaon. And a Pavane of Slaanesh will damage the Chaos Knights, but also probably rampage them into Stone Trolls. And Imric throws out a nasty breath attack, takes the Stone Trolls down to barely any HP. They are probably going to rout any second now, especially with that dive in from him. That was a great sequence from Imric. And can the High Elves and Chaos Warriors hold on this southern side as the Green Tide has come? The Green Tide is here. A was even popped. I'm getting a little scared. Imric and Archaon are certainly scary forces, and they still have healing, but they're running out of support rather quickly. That being said, it's not like the Greenskins are exactly having a party either. Their healthy units are their archers, but everything else is taking a walloping. Still have one healthy Stone Troll, which is fine. For Slaanesh, after that brutal, brutal start, they're not looking too hot either. They don't have a ton left on the battlefield. Another Lash hitting the Dragon Princes, giving everybody their buffs that they need. Demonettes with 78 melee attack from Wurzag and Slaanesh buffs. Just whittling them down. Speaking of Wurzag, he was trying to fight next to some of his Savage Orc Barbarians, and while they are taking out Chaos Knights and a point-blank Gaze of Mork hurts Archaon, Wurzag's also going to Terror Route, and I wonder if he's out here in the middle of nowhere Terror Routing outside of his player's control, he could get isolated and killed off, which would be a death sentence for the Greenskins, and the Slaanesh Herald ain't looking so good either, so their leadership is falling apart. One thing that is going nicely is Imric is caught by these Stone Trolls, armor sundered by the Rusty Errors, and the Herald of Slaanesh even jumping in, Locust of Grace trying to keep her in it. That's a really nice snipe going on to Imric, getting a lot of damage, but Wurzag routing off the field, escorted by Dragon Princes, might prove too much. And Archaon's even here to bail out Imric, not a sentence you'd think you'd be saying out loud, as he kills off the Herald of Slaanesh. That'll cause some of the Demonettes to Demonic Instability crumble. Wurzag is officially off the battlefield too, and all of a sudden the leadership problems for the Greenskins coming to the forefront. Stone Trolls routing off. Imric gets another breath attack down, roasting them once again. They Terror out. Everything is routing, and it looks like it's wrapped up. That was a very close game. That was a very close game. I like that a lot. GG's. I have not watched any of these besides the game I played in, but so I don't really know what's coming either. All right. Mars Pattern. His Exalted Demonettes overall doing very, very well. His Herald of Slaanesh also did quite nicely. Marauder Horsemen did okay. Furies fell apart. Marauders did fine. For Ian Zero, admirable performance from the Stone Trolls. I really like that. I like the tag team moment where the Herald of Slaanesh was running from Archaon and these Stone Trolls just lumber over and bail her out. That was sick. Love to see it. Savage Orc Barbarians did okay. Goblin Rock Lava did all right. Death Creepers, Goblin Archers, Rusty Arrows did well considering their price points. You know, they're cheap, so you don't expect a lot out of them. And Goblins and Squigs did well. On the other side for the Phoenix King, Imric, 2,200 value. He had some good moments. The value itself wasn't that shocking, I guess, but I thought he played well with it. Dragon Prince is really underperforming value-wise. Rangers doing most of the work for the High Elves here. So not a lot of damage value so far. Archaon with impressive 3,100. That's more of what I was expecting. Chaos Knights did okay. Chaos Warriors got murdered! They got murdered! Oh my god! Just no value. Instant death. Oh, boy. Okay. Oh, God. All right. Looks like most of the damage was leadership or demonic instability, because neither the High Elf or the Chaos Army got a ton of value. At the start, I'm like fighting every cavalry the other team have Mars pattern. Yeah, that was funny. That was funny because you guys had that Vanguard shenanigans, but also Chaos and High Elves deployed asymmetrically. So the Greenskin had to fight a bunch of infantry and all their cavalry was down there with you. That was so funny how the game started and just boom! 3 out of the 4 armies are 100% in melee. All right. So game 4. Now Deft. Deft is our King of the Hill. He won that right with the Phoenix King, so he has 1 win. So if Deft can now win 2 in a row, that was the Warriors of Chaos player. 2 in a row from this point will be 3, and he would get a DLC. And is Vanthus still there? Because you might get what you want. Deft, the new player, paired up with Sir Groot, who is more veteran. We have Warriors of Chaos and Lizardmen. And then on the other side, the challengers are Ra Unleashed on Dark Elves, an up-and-coming new player in our scene as well, and Raced, a longtime veteran, probably one of the best consistent players we have right now. I'd rank him in top 5. Not top 5, like, all-time, like, oh, what about, like, Void Lulls at his height, or, like, you know, Alfredino at his height. Though Alfredino's still around and playing great, so it's not a great example, but, like, Toxon Soothsayer. But, like, of the top 5 players right now that I see actively playing the game, yeah, Raced is in there for sure. So, it's a spooky fight for Deft and Sir Groot. See how they can do. And I didn't mention Raced is on Kislev. I was just busy talking about how great he is. Warriors of Chaos Lizardmen versus Dark Elves and Kislev. Will Ra Unleashed and Raced, the RA brothers, disrupt the natural order of things, or will the old ones pairing up with the end times prevail? All the maps were played on Galbaraz. It's just a nice open map with a little bit of terrain, so you can do some cheekiness. But for the event, since it was scheduled as you can, I wanted to make things as simple as possible, so I just said play them on Galbaraz. All right, for the forces here, we'll talk about the current king. For Deft, we have triple Chaos Knight of Tzeentch, Archaon the Everchosen, and then a front line of Marauders mixed with Chaos Warriors. That last Chaos Knight of Tzeentch is on the far side. For his Lizardman pal, Sir Groot, looks like 5 Skink Skirmishers across the front line, a bunch of Cold One cavalry, Feral Cold Ones, and Cold One Spear Riders mixed throughout the back. 4 Ripperdactyls? 4 Ripperdactyl Riders, one of which is the Colossus Hunters, and then we have a Solemn Mage Priest of Life to heal up both Chaos and Lizard alike. Very straightforward build. I do not believe in Cold One cavalry, but Sir Groot clearly does. On the other side, for the Dark Elf and Kislev Alliance, once again, it's funny because last game, no, it was Mars Pattern and the Greenskins, so never mind. Yeah, we have once again one side opting for the you take left, I'll take right, and the other side opting for let's mix it up, let's mix and match. How does the WA gauge work? For any Greenskins that are fighting, it charges up. It's based on number of models, not how much damage you're doing. So that's why Goblins charge you faster than Orcs, because there's more Goblins. But Slanesh would not charge the wall, I don't think. Alright, anyway. For the Dark Elves of Ra Unleashed, we have Cold One Knights mixed with Cold One Dread Knights. Very elite cavalry for the Dark Elves. Dark Shards for some armor-piercing missiles in the back, including a Bolt Fiend. We have the Sisters Singing Doom, terror-causing Witch Elves with their Rampage. And then some Bleak Swords of Dread Spears and a Supreme Sorceress of Dark with Soul Stealer on her dragon. On the other side, well, not on the other side, on the other half of the same army, Raced and Kislev, armored Kossars and Kossars paired up together. We do have 2 Akshina ambushers, one of which is the Wolf Hearts, the RR with the net. We do have the Oath Brothers of Tor, Warbear Riders, the Mordheim Beowulfs, ROR Things in the Woods, some Kossovite Dervishes, a Griffin Legion, Zarina Katerin with Deathfrost and Ice Maid's Kiss, and of course, the Watchmen of the Night, Regiment of Renowned Armored Kossars. And I say, of course, like that's a common thing. That is not a common thing. I barely ever see this unit. Ready? We good? Why do Squigs gain faster? Goblins do. Squigs don't. Squigs don't gain faster than Orcs. What are you talking about? This is the moment to advertise the new player league. I did at the start of the stream. I can't just constantly advertise it, because then people watch the VOD get annoyed. It's at the very start. But yes, we have a new player league on our Discord. Join the Discord, get the Rat Ogre role, play in all of our new player tournaments. We have one a week, and sometimes we have fun events like this. On the far side, we have Cavalry Fight, Cavalry Fight, Cavalry Fight. Cold One Dread Knights fighting Chaos Knights of Tzeentch right next to the edge of the map, so if anybody routes, it is going to be a bad fucking time. More Cold One Knights are opting in, and Dark Shards tearing apart the skink skirmishers of the other side. Kislev is starting to advance on their end. Chaos Knights of Tzeentch down in a bit of a pit, getting shot at for now, not enjoying that whatsoever, and if they get downhill charged by armor-piercing cav, they'll have a bad time. Dark Elves winning this fight for now, but Ripperdactyl's clearly setting up for a rear charge, which could get real sus. I wonder if we'll get a Soul Stealer for damage, not for healing. Spree Sorceress of Dark. Oh, she could also throw, there's the Soul Stealer like we predicted, but she could also throw a not Burning Head. Damn it, Dragon Breath. There we go. Down those Chaos Knights of Tzeentch, that'd be bad. Feral Cold One's already routing. Ripperdactyl's taking a lot of damage, but we have other things to go spectate. A Burning Head tried to damage the Auctioneer Ambushers. Looks like it had a pretty hefty curve on it, but it went nowhere. Pack Trap locking these Chaos Knights of Tzeentch in combat with the Kossovite Dervishes, but no one cares about Kossovite Dervishes. You care about two Auctioneer Ambushers shooting your ass from a distance, and they're just getting deleted. Other Cavalry for Kislev is standing off, making sure these Auctioneer Ambushers can stay online. Archaon has popped his buffs and is fighting Zarina, but Zarina's actually doing okay here for now. A little surprising. Getting decent damage down on him, and ooh, here come the Oath Brothers of Tor. Archaon is out. He's out of here. He wants nothing to do with it. Good job by Deft to recognize that he was in a bit of trouble. Now on the far side, the Dark Elves. See, okay, so Chaos started this fight with some Chaos Knights fighting the Dark Elves, and then Lizardmen brought reinforcements with some rear charging Ripperdactyls, and then the Dark Elves brought reinforcements with a giant Dragon Lord and a Soul Stealer, and then the Lizardmen brought reinforcements with more fucking Ripperdactyls. So this is all of a sudden a bad place for the Dark Elves to be, but they're bringing reinforcements with more Cold One Knights. Oh my god, it's like those bad anime or cartoon shows where you fight them one at a time. You fight the big superhero one at a time instead of going all in at once. It's like that, but on both sides, where it's like Ricky's in, now James is in, now Theodore's in, now Marissa's in. Tag in! Oh, he's tagging one more person. All right. Anyway, Feral Cold Ones and these Chaos Knights of Tzeentch have gotten to the Ambushers at last, and that is a big target for them. Ambushers are decent in melee combat, but it's not, like, incredible. They can't hold back heavy cavalry from eating them alive. And Zarina's also joining the fight. Red is taking a significant lead on the balance power, and I do tend to agree. Dark Elves have a ton of infantry left, and it's all feeling pretty healthy. And this fight, while it is going to shit for now, the Cold One Dread Knights are still holding, and here come the Dark Shards getting into range, firing in, and any damage you get onto Supreme Sorceress of Dark don't count for very much when she throws out Soul Stealers. So the Dark Elves should be able to rally this position with their Dark Shards firing in. More stuff is starting to rout. And Cold Knights holding to the last is proving to be pretty darn good. Chaos's front line is making no headways past Kislev and the Dark Elves. Archaon himself is actually death frosted right now. Still getting whittled. He'll need healing from the Slann, but I don't know if that'll even turn this around. As the cavalry flank on this side did do a good number on Kislev's ranged units, there's still enough of them to persist. Still, the Dark Elf Sorceress is holding. She's now fighting a Slann in melee combat. The Clawstone Hunters are hovering up above, but she even has spear support. She's chilling. She's doing great. Marauders are at last disrupting these Dark Shards, and it looks like Chaos Knights of Tzeentch are also trying to get out of there and go stop the Dark Shards, which is a good little place for them, but the balance of power is just turning too far against them. Chaos has completely collapsed on this right flank. Most of the Skink Skirmishers have not been able to achieve much. They've taken a lot of damage. All of the front line for green and blue is falling, and the last real strength is over here with the Slann and some Ripperdactyls, but that's not nearly enough to fight, like, all of everything that's left on the whole battlefield. Kislev and Dark Elves too strong. Keep advertising, Human Boy? Never. Bye, Antoyevich. Things are looking about doomed as a Soul Stealer hits, healing up the Supreme Sorceress, making that balance of power even worse, and the Dark Shards are once again freed up to fire. Chaos Knights of Tzeentch somehow have not managed to get out of the blob fight and back here to disrupt the Dark Shards. Not that it matters at this point. Blue and Green are just a little bit too far behind. I will hit fast forward as I think Army Losses is right around the corner. Ah, there go the Chaos Knights of Tzeentch. Taking out a whole Dark Shard, but the Bolt Fiends and these other Dark Shards are firing up over the hill, making those Knights of Tzeentch have a bad time. Archaon's teaming up with them. Supreme Sorceress took a walloping, but she's still alive. The balance power is still doomed as Lizards and Chaos hold up a last valiant effort. I don't know what's going on with these Colossus Hunters. I'm suspecting that there's a glitch with the replay, because there's no shot that they were just sitting there like that. Archaon did good. Chaos Knights of Tzeentch struggled to get their value back, unfortunately. Chaos Warriors also struggled their value back, and Marauders did fine. For Sir Groot and his Lizard Men, Salon got good value, considering his healing. Ripperdactyls struggled a bit. Feral Cold Ones and Cold One Spear Riders struggled a bit, and Skink Skirmishers did not get a ton of value. The other side for Ra Unleashed, amazing value on the Dark Elf Supreme Sorceress. That's the type of shit we're talking about, though, man. She can just be surrounded by Cav and Ripperdactyls and tank it out for a cheap Soul Stealer Damage Lord for some reason. Please. I would honestly rather they nerf Soul Stealer than increase the cost, because it's like, what does a meta Dark Elf Lord make? Marathian Double Manticore, healed up by Soul Stealer. Malekith for a very long time, healed up by Soul Stealer. Now a Supreme Sorceress, healed up by Soul Stealer. Let's just keep nerfing every Lord into the ground, rather than nerfing a problematic spell, guys. Anyway, I digress. God forbid, like, Malekith be any good. Because imagine Malekith pre-nerfs, and then take away Soul Stealer, or at least nerf it, and then he'll take, like, Chill Wind and stuff. But now, dude, now if you don't take Soul Stealer or Malekith, you're fucking trolling. He's so expensive without any self-healing. It's, fuck Soul Stealer. Anyway, Katerin did great. Warbear Riders did what they had to. Griffin Legion, not a ton there. Action Ambushers did fantastically. Armored Cossars held forever. And Dervishes did great. So GG. I put a blogger up, right? Yes. So now, where were we? Deft and Sir Groot fell. Ra Unleashed and Raced have claimed the hill. So Ra Unleashed is the new player, so he is actually the de facto king. 1 win. Can he get 2 more wins and get a fancy DLC? Or will the stream persist forever? Alright, Ra Unleashed switched partners. He is paired up with Grandfather Girthquake, which is Cool Umbrella. So Cool Umbrella on Nurgle, and then Ra Unleashed on the Tomb Kings, versus Wolfblade, a new player that we have been happy to have, on Bastone, which is Bretonia, and then Boojalicious, up-and-coming streamer on Kick, but also has been around the scene for a while, on Dwarves. So it's Ra Unleashed versus Wolfblade, Cool Umbrella versus Boojalicious. Where's the Dowie and the Chaos Dowie team? I don't know. The Nurgle and Tomb Kings teaming up seems really suspect, but Bretonia and Dwarves is fine. That's something that can happen. Alrighty, Rue, what do we got? We have... I'll do real time till I have to pause it or something. Marauders of Nurgle for a front line, then some Chosen of Nurgle for an inner core, 5 Nurglings, Kugath Plaguefather, a Soul Grinder, and 2 Exalted Heroes of Nurgle. Cool. And Kugath did bring just Fleshy Abundance, just the heal. For the Tomb Kings, we have Skeleton Spears all around the sides, paired with some Skeleton Warriors, so a bunch of chaff. 4 Ushabti Great Bows, one of which is the Chosen of the Gods. We have 1 Spork Stalker, 2 Melee Ushabti, 2 Carrion, and DJ Katep, trying to offer as much healing, support, and disruption as possible in a 4-team game rather than a 2-team game. On the other side, for Bretonia and the Dwarves, we do have Miners across the front line for the Dwarves. Most of them have Blasting Charges, some don't. Thunderers, Dwarf Warriors advancing, including the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass. Ironbreakers in the very far back. More Thunderers, more Ironbreakers. A single Flame Cannon? A single Flame Cannon. Thoric Ironbrow, and double Thane. So it is an infantry tide for the Dwarves. For Bretonia, alongside them, we have some Knights of the Realm. Knights of the Lionhearted in the very far back. No one is underneath the camera. And then a bunch of peasants. Peasant mobs, men-at-arms with spears, men-at-arms with swords, 5, 6 peasant archers. Then we have a Damsel of Life, a Grail Relique, and Alberic de Bordelot up in the sky. And there are some Grail Guardians. I was wondering where the fancy cab was. Okay. I'm wondering why the Knights of Lionhearted are so far behind. They should probably be moving up with the rest of them, huh? Ushapti Greatbow getting into range of these archers. Now Kugath, his Soul Grinder, and the Chosen of the Gods have been punishing the front line. It looks like the Chosen of the Gods have been firing at these Thunderers and doing great work while at it. The front line for the Dwarves will hold, but it looks pretty obvious that the Bretonnians and Dwarves are relying on their ranged units to get a bunch of damage out. And these Thunderers are extending past the front line as the Marauders of Nurgle are closing in on them. And something's targeting them. It looks like basic Ushapti. So the Dwarves and the Bretonnians need to keep their Archers and Thunderers online. Nurgle needs to keep their weapons teams and the weapons teams of the Tomb Kings online. I'm not sure what these Knights of the Realm are doing off in the distance. They're going to have to get up here, get active. Marauders of Nurgle have caught these Thunderers who do need to retreat. Miner's Blast Charge is trying to bail them out of that. The Dwarven front line has been met. Soul Grinder doing good damage to some Peasant Bowmen while the Thunderers attempt to fire back at something. Looks like they're shooting at the Ushapti. That seems fine. So far, this early game is going heavily to Nurgle and the Tomb Kings. The Dowie front line is suffering a lot of damage. Peasants are already routing. Some Thunderers are also thinking about getting gone. And Bretonnia has not been able to get their cav in at all. Some of their cav is just sitting AFK, which is a problem. Dwarves continue to advance. They will push through Skeleton Warriors rather quickly as some Peasant Bowmen from Bretonnia saunter forward too far ahead of the front line, who has Ironbreakers just trying to join now. But a little bit of chaos and confusion, unfortunately, in the Dwarven ranks. And Bretonnia, they're just not meshing super well together. Flame Cannon is still trying to get into range. They're down, they still have 4 out of 4 models. The Knights of the Realm in the back, not moving just yet. Other Knights of the Realm have gotten engaged with the Chosen of the Gods. Nice little charge there. And as the Ushapti come up to take care of them, the Knights of the Realm run away. So that's a good play from Bretonnia. Nice job there. Some of the Marauders are starting to fall apart, but Nurglings and Skeleton Warriors are being sent up in reserve to plug those holes. Make sure this front line stays stalwart. I would like for Alberic to be more involved. He probably needs to throw a trident down these Nurglings to do some damage, but also to get their leadership faltering so that the Vermonic instability crumble. And he also needs to be just helping out with these Knights of the Realm and such. Flame Cannons still firing in. Not sure what they're firing in just yet. It looks like these Skeleton Spears or something. I haven't seen a projectile from them for a while, but I am seeing explosions, so I think it's just bugged. Nope. Okay, there's some projectiles at last. But Alberic being AFK is definitely a problem for the forces of the red team. Now, I've been pretty negative on them, but the balance of power is not. Balance of power is about dead even for how early in this game we are. I mean, how late we are. 4 minutes. Though it does take these guys a little bit longer to advance than Greenskins and Slaanesh, who just fucking sprint to the front line and go. Double Exalted Hero of Nurgle beating up on the Grail Relique and a Thane. Looks like Thoric is maybe trying to go help out, while something... Archers are firing over here. Nurglings or something. Soul Grinder's about out of ammo. Kugath has also gone through a lot of his. And how are we doing on Ushaptis? The Ushaptis are all chilling. They have tons of health. Not a lot of ammunition left, but that's kind of a good thing, ain't it? They fired all their shots. Dwarven Flame Cannon still firing in. Trying to punish some of these Skeleton Warriors, though they're mostly hitting their own Dwarf Warriors for some reason. I've seen 3 shots hit Dwarf Warriors out of like the 6 I've watched total. That's kind of insane. Alberic is now starting to get involved, which is good. The Archers on the back line have still been firing, which is nice. I mean, not everything is terrible. Some things are going okay for the Ordered Tide. Miners in the backfield are easily peeled off by Ushapti and Carrions from the Ushapti Greatbows, keeping those guys online. Sprocket Stalkers are moving up, try and get some damage out, though they can't see the tiny dwarves behind their own lines, so they sit ready to do something when something is required of them. Thoric is now fighting Double Exalted Hero, and he's fighting in the Chosen of Nurgle. He'll need bailing out very, very quickly if he is to survive. Thoric is a tanky and a menace, but he's not that tanky. He's being a little bit abandoned. Knights of the Realm in the back have been remembered at last. They will kill off these Carrion rather swiftly, saving the Flame Cannon in the process, but they are going to be needed way up here as Thoric continues to take a beating. Soul Grinder has joined the melee fight since he's now out of ammunition. The Archers and Thunderers continue to fire as they have been all game. Mildly concerning for the Tomb Kings is that they're running out of ammunition to keep firing, and the balance of power is still even. Kugath Plaguefather is now the target of a lot of these archers. We still have some men-at-arms as shields that should probably move up. Alberic is once again in the backline, just vibing and surviving, which he needs to be killing and slaughtering and murdering. Grail Guardians are out here chilling. I think they probably disintegrated something while we weren't looking, and now they just need new orders. Kugath's taking a good amount of damage. He even throws a Fleshy Abundance on himself. We saw Fecundity earlier, so that's a good amount of damage for the Order forces to get onto him. Because Kugath, you're pretty much going to have to heal cap him. So, damage is damage. You take what you can. Whereas Dragonfire Pass continue to buck and grind with Ushabtis and Marauders, so yeah, Ushabti will just walk away from that one. Peasant Archers closing in. More Nurglings fading away. More Nurglings fading away. And Dwarven Tenacity might withstand the test of time. Now Ushabti summon is out, but it is just a summon. It's limited in its capacity, but this could be bad. Alberic might be too deep. He's surrounded by big single entities in the middle of Ushabti as well, and Sparkle Stalkers are waiting to shoot him if he ever escapes. Kugath continues to run under half HP, but Knights of the Realm are here to try and bail out the situation, and they are very much needed. Grail Guardians also fighting Ushabti on the far side. That is a great trade for Bretonnia, so both sides getting out a lot of damage as of now. The Bretonnian tide continues to advance, and that Flame Cannon is holding on. Never give in, never surrender, says the Flame Cannon. Now Knights of the Realm will pile onto this Exalted Hero of Nurgle. Where is Alberic? Did he escape? A Thane is 1v1ing Kugath, which is admirable. That's ballsy. Yeah, and Alberic's out. All of a sudden, red is up on the balance of power. It's looking a little spooky. Kugath's healing cap is within sight. It's within sight. When was this? It was last week. Well, some of the games were played pretty recently, but yeah. Kugath still getting focused down by the archers. I have really liked that portion of the Order Tide's plan. This Ushabti is a summon, so a full health Ushabti in the backline is scary until you realize that in 8 seconds it'll kill itself. More men-at-arms need to advance. And I wonder if Bretonnia can give the dwarves any healing. Can we heal up these Thanes or something? Kugath's trying to use the last of his ammunition in the backfield as miners are routed off. But these Ushabti Great Bows are quickly going to become regular melee Ushabti with worse stats. Really nice volley from Ironbreakers doing that much damage to the Chosen Nurgle. What the fuck? That's kind of insane. Thork is surrounded by them. Alberic's still playing a little passively for my taste. Wish he would get just a bit more active. And it's getting a little bit worse for our friends Nurgle and Tomb Kings. It's creeping down. They're running out of troops. Alberic is sitting up there with an Earthblood cast onto him. This Ushabti Great Bow is about to fade away. Chosen of the Gods about to fade away, that they have no ammo, so who really cares? The Ushabti in the backline we were talking about is officially gone. These Peasant Bowmen do need to be pulled up, and a very healthy Grail Guardian. Why are you this far back, my friend? You need to move up, please. Please move up, my friend. Soul Grinder and Exalted Heroes are all sitting in the backfield, near the command post of Kugath Plaguefather. Shame I missed playing. More on that at the end of the stream. We'll talk about it at the end of the stream. For now, I don't want to interrupt anything. So where are we at? Where are we at? Peasant Archers firing at Exalted Heroes of Nurgle. Those are unfortunately the worst targets to be firing at out of this. You could damage the Soul Grinder. Kugath's probably the best target, or those Eyes of the Desert that have all that ammunition. The tiny, tiny, and heavily armored Exalted Heroes, who also haven't been healed a ton, so they have plenty of healing left to go. They're just not great targets for archers, unfortunately. Grail Guardians are moving up. Kugath continues to bomb these guys. The Dwarven Flame Cannons are moving up, poking down the Ushabti, giving them some leadership debuffs. The Double Thanes are under attack by the Exalted Heroes, and it looks like Grail Guardians and Alberic are going to join in, and Grail Guardians with anti-large from his Braid of Bordello are going to be rather oppressive. But Alberic does have to dive in soon. He is leaving, so he's taking that bonus versus large with him, and he's not taking the opportunity to rear charge in. Now he's coming back. Rear charge, please. Please, buddy? Buddy! Get in there! Alberic! Do something! Grail Guardians fighting their best. The Double Thanes are also dealing good damage back to the Exalted Heroes, but Alberic should 100% be charging in here. He could be doing excellent work. Carrion have flown into the backfield. They are routing off some peasant bowmen and flame cannons. And it feels like Bretonnia and the dwarves are just getting a little lazy in the late game. Some stuff is really falling by the wayside. Too many knights are sitting still. Too many ranged units have taken too long to move up or have taken slightly incorrect targets. And Nurgle and the Tomb Kings are starting to come back in this game. Peasant Bowmen routing off. Grail Guardians running away. And also, where is the healing for the dwarves? I don't know where all the healing has gone this game, so maybe I just missed some of it, but I feel like we're needing a lot more Earthbloods onto the Dwarven characters who have been doing good work, but they're doing good work on 1 health bar apiece. Kugath has 1 ammunition left. I have another ping. Where is it from? Okay, I'll deal with it later. Kugath used... I thought he used his ammunition, but it was just a weird attack animation. Knights of the Realm getting pushed off by the Sparkle Stalkers. Alberic is teaming up with the Thane to take out a Soul Grinder, which is great. You love to see it. The Thunderers are also helping out, pitching in. That Soul Grinder will get to crumbling away. That's another big, scary single entity dead. The floor is poor. Alberic ain't touching that. Facts. Knights of the Realm and these other Knights of the Realm, everybody just has to pile in on these Eyes of the Desert, because this, like, will they, won't they, dancing around is just causing you to take more damage, unfortunately. Carrion probably have to be dealt with as the last mobile forces of the Tomb Kings. Grail Guardians fighting the Ushabti Greatbows without ammo. They should do okay there. Could use Alberic's support, though. So we're getting a little loose. Getting a little loose. Kugath continuing to get shot at, looks like, by some random-ass Thunderers. No, they're shooting at Sparkle Stalkers, which is a fine target. Starting to get concerned, though, as Thoric and his Thanes are fighting a 2v4 without any support from Bretonnia whatsoever. And Bretonia's cavalry is still just sitting around the flanks, way too scared to get involved in any fights, unfortunately, for them. Sparkle Stalker is coming back to the fray. And Alberic is chasing off the Carrion, which isn't a terrible use of his time. Knights of the Realm also try to catch him, but they're not quite there in time. We need more archers. These archers need to move up and deal with Kugath. They've been in the back for far too long, shooting at random shit like Carrion or Exalted Heroes. Thoric and his Thane are starting to fall back, though there's nowhere to fall back to. And these Dwarf Warriors will get killed off by Kotep and the boys. We need some Earthbloods on the Dwarven Hero Corps, please. Or onto Bretonnia Knights, or anywhere. I don't know where the healing's going. I haven't seen a lot of it, but there's some. Ooh, but that was an overcast onto just Thoric. A bit of a misplay there. I mean, he needed the healing, sure, but he needed to group up the other Thanes, or Alberic, or the Grail Guardians, or whatever. Sparkle Stalkers are going to fire at Alberic, who's currently trying to go help out Thoric, but he will help out Thoric right in front of Sparkle Stalkers. Thankfully, they're being ranged units right now, and janking about. Alberic with some nice dodges to try and avoid some of that damage, but yeah, where are the Grail Guardians? Knights of the Realm on the far side. A Thane and his Dwarf Warriors are kicking the shit out of Kotep. We're gonna have to be a little careful about that, Tomb Kings. Kugath is abandoning Kotep to his fate. Kotep is no longer useful to his schemes. The last healthy Ushabti is still doing good. Knights of the Realm still trying to finish off these Ushabti Greatbows. And archers are here. Thunderers are firing. Where are these archers shooting at? What are you doing? Looks like they're at free fire right now, and they're firing at Carrion. They need to shoot at Kugath. Please shoot the Kugathster. Nice play here from Alberic. Going to jump back, try and snipe out Kotep and save Thoric at the same time. 2 Exalted Heroes of Nurgle need to pick a lane and go fight one. A Rune of Wrath and Ruin just completely whiffs, unfortunately. And the nerves and the panic is setting in, folks. Things are getting hairy for both sides. Another Earthblood is out. I think Kotep has been disrupting the healer. I think that's what we've been seeing. So more healing, but again, it is only Thoric getting this healing. No other single entities. Oh, that is really brutal for Bretonnia and the Dwarves. They need to get a lot more cluster heals than just single cast Earthblooding Thoric. Thunderers continue to poke away at Kugath, and this archer needs to move up. Kugath is in range, but the archers aren't firing. They don't have orders onto him, and I can't tell if that's a ranged unit jank or just a mistake by the player. More knights are sitting around to the sides. They need to get involved, get in there. Ushabti and Kotep continuing to fight, and I don't know where Alberic is going. Spearmen at Arms are committing back to the fight. Bretonnia and the Dwarves have a lot of guys left, but these Grail Guardians maybe are going to charge the Carrion and save this archer, but that archer needed to be way closer and firing for a lot longer. Kugath's getting closer to his heal cap. There's probably more healing left for him. Thoric is going to join some Spearmen at Arms and other Men at Arms. and try and fight. Oh, this is Foot Thoric? Why? Why didn't we take Anvil of Doom Thoric and give, like, all these Bretonnian peasants 24 melee attack? Ooh, peasant archers with ammunition left ended up in melee somehow. Alberic ended up not diving into this fight to give anybody bonus versus large. And now, what is this? A Trident of Manon goes way off course. What is happening in this late game? Is this replay... Umbrella, are you still in the chat? Is this replay looking like what it looked like in game? Because there are some spells that are being whiffed. Like that Rune of Wrath and Ruin in the middle of nowhere and that Trident of Manon in the middle of nowhere, that I'm starting to wonder if there was some replay inconsistencies for some reason between, like, maybe some of CA's micro patches changed something. But, like, some of these aren't adding up. Kotep finally dies in the middle of these Knights of the Realm, and that'll lead the Tomb Kings to maybe crumble faster, especially these Skeleton Spears over here. Alberic is still up in the sky, being a little bit passive. And this Thunderer man has been poking at Kugath forever. Carrion doing the flying unit bug, where they travel at 1 mile an hour slowly towards the forces of the Dwarves and Bretonnia. Could be from the hotfix, maybe. Is this looking roughly like what it was for you guys? Grail Guardians in the fight somewhere. I'm trying to highlight their models, but I can't quite find them. Yeah, they're all over the place over here. But the Sporkle Stalkers getting chewed down with all that ammunition is actually huge for the forces of Bretonnia. These Carrion are stuck in the sky fighting Alberic, who's still just flying around. More likely this file is corrupted. Yeah, I'm starting to feel that as we go on. Because this game has been weird. This game has been weird as fuck. Kugath is currently getting worn down by the Thanes and Thoric. The Thoric guy seems like a bugged unit. Yeah, maybe. This Thunderer is still just firing at Kugath. He's been fucking chilling all game long as he's carrying sit above him. I'm getting increasingly suspicious as the replay flat out stops. I haven't paused it, it just stopped. Yeah, so something got bugged about that replay. Because it can't go any further. Because, spoiler alert, Ra Unleashed in Cool Umbrella won. Which is why I was getting so confused. I was like, how is this replay going this way? I know who wins this one, and it's not Wolfblade and Booge. So something got fucked up about the replay. But the end result is Nurgle and Tomb Kings eventually win. Cool Umbrella in chat, if you can give a very brief version of what actually happened towards the end there, that'd be great. Who won? I just announced that. So Ra Unleashed goes up to 2 wins. Can he get 3? In hopefully... Oh God. Of course, like, a CA hotfix that's mostly for a campaign somehow fucks up my replays from literally, like, 5 days ago. 8 days ago, still. Alright. We have Ra Unleashed and Grandfather Umbrella hanging out together yet again, though this time Umbrella's on the Skaven and Ra Unleashed is on Cathay, versus Dr. Nerdgash on Warriors of Chaos and Anti-Kaiju with Chaos Dwarves. That's pretty thematic, Chaos Dwarves fighting alongside Chaos. Alberic got hit pretty hard, then Thoric died in army losses. Fair enough. Will the stream end, or will a new king take the throne with Dr. Nerdgash? I can't believe Skaven and Cathay are fighting side by side and it's not Deathmaster Snitch. What the fuck? You stop dancing on the clouds hard long enough to get hit hard? Yeah. When you have a corrupted replay all of a sudden. Now I feel bad for my criticisms because Wolfblade and Bootjalicious might have been like, hey dude, fuck you! This wasn't actually a problem in a real play. But I can comment on what I can see, not on what might happen. Alright. There's a missile coming in hot. So why don't we talk about it? For the Skaven and Cathay, we have an Uber box. Jade Warriors paid up the Clan Rat Spears across the front line. We have 2 Warplock Jezzails from the Skaven, Teeth Breakers, a Jet Lion, Zhao Ming, the Iron Dragon with Final Transmutation as his only spell, a whole bunch of Rat Ogres and Jade Lancers to offer some mass support. We have 2 Grand Cannons of Cathay, Ikit Zap Zap Warp Lightning Cannon Regiment of Renown, the Avalanche Mortars, Peasant Long Spears, and 3 Onyx Crowmen, one of which is the Emperor's Crowman, with Ikit Claw and Flensing Ruin. Flensing Ruin plus Final Trans will actually be some pretty fun blob sniping. That's silly. On the other side, for the forces of Chaos United, Chaos Dwarf and Chaos Regular. 4 Hobgoblin Wolf Riders, the Swords of Chaos, Knights of Immolation, Doom Knights ROR, Marauders, some with great weapons, most without, Archaon the Everchosen, Spirit Leech, and Burning Head, a Chaos Manticore, 2 more Chaos Knights of Tzeentch, Orc and Goblin Laborers with 2 Chaos Dwarf Blunderbusses, a Dreadquake Mortar Skullcracker Train, and then a Sorcerer Prophet of Hashut with Hellhammer, Ashstorm, and the Vial of Hashut. Okay. There's also a Demonsmith Sorcerer of Death on the ground with just the Reforge heal. Wouldn't the War Drum give the Rats Harmony? I don't believe so, but I have no idea. Alright, Skaven are going to be firing a lot. The Dreadquake Mortar has its work cut out for it if it thinks it's going to counter fire versus the Skaven at all. Cannons are also even aiming for him now, and I hope you can dodge, dude. I hope you got your dancing shoes on, because it's about to be a bad fucking time. As the Dreadquake Mortar continues to fire at some Clan Rats doing half their HP, which is cool, and then a Howling Warp Gale nets the Knights of Immolation right in front of Rattling Gunners and Jezzails, who are just taking their day out on the poor Doom Knights. Swords of Chaos going in single file, Warhammer 3 style. Don't know why that attack command keeps happening so much, but it does. Knights of Immolation still flying for their original goal, taking a lot of damage as a Hellhammer goes down the cannons. Not doing a lot, unfortunately, there. And the Knights of Immolation somehow actually make it to the backline, which I'm shocked about. Dreadquake Mortar is now firing at Ikit Zap Zap, but he's already taken so much damage, and that's with a Reforge being cast on him already. Bounce power is in the favor of Grand Cathay and Skaven, and I do not disagree. Skirmish Cavalry is firing in onto the Warplock Jezzails, getting pretty good damage out. Some decent damage has been traded back, but man, that 3,400-ish gold Dreadquake Mortar thing taking so much damage is just brutal. Another Burning Head down the line onto these cannons. It does not do nearly as much damage to artillery as other forms. So I would have liked to see those things on the front line to just get the Skaven and Cathay front line routing quicker, and then maybe let you into that back line. The Dreadquake Mortar is already going down. Sorcerer Prophet of Hashut is also just fucking dead. He is straight up actually dead. And now Archaon is the next target. Looks like we have a Flensing Ruin or a Final Transmutation onto him. Looks like, yes, it is Final Trans. Is it both? No, just Final Trans. Dreadquake Mortar skulking away. Nobody feels like finishing it off just yet, though we don't know how much the replay is bugged, so maybe it's already dead according to the game. You never know. And an unholy mass of cavalry and crows and rat ogres chase off the Chaos Knights of Tzeentch. Balance of power is desperately low for the Chaos forces already. Oh, Dreadquake's back and he's firing in. So he's at least kind of real. He's again firing at these cannons, but I just don't think the Dreadquake does that much damage to this type of unit. You gotta focus it on blobs, unfortunately. That might be GG. Cannons are back onto the Dreadquake, so he's gonna die any second now. Like that. And without him, army losses is coming in hot, especially with Archaon dying. That'll be a GG for Ra Unleashed and Cool Umbrella. I don't know what the intentions of the players were. Maybe Chaos Dwarves and Chaos were just having fun and made some, like, cool builds. Which, if that's the case, then go, you do what you want. But if, like, pretending that this is a serious build, putting on my analysis hat, these builds were not good. These builds were bad. The blunderbusses are a short-range unit. They're better in defensive than offensive capabilities, but then you have a Dreadquake Mortar that, like, that unit in general just sucks. But you're going against 2 of the only factions that have functioning long-range things. Like, Cathay is the only artillery in the game that works correctly right now. And Skaven have Jezzails, which is pretty good. Plus, Warp Lightning Cannons just got buffed. I don't know what the plan is there. Again, if you're just having fun, you're having fun, which is fine. But just putting on my analysis hat for anybody who wants serious analysis. The Hobgoblin Wolf Riders was fine, but like this Chaos Dwarf build just has too much of everything, not enough of one thing going on. Where it's like we want to play artillery and defensive, but then we have some skirmish and a big single entity. What's the plan? What are we doing? And the Chaos build had a bunch of cavalry, but the Skaven and Cathay are both extremely good at killing cavalry. Like, you have the best peasant spears in the game with the 350 gold peasant long spears that perform better than some halberds. You have working cannons. Skaven have globes and rat ogres. Like, it's just their 2v2 build was way too asynergistic. Where like Chaos kind of wants to rush, Chaos Dwarves kind of want to skirmish or play defensive. They don't really know what's going on. Whereas on the other side, Cathay and Skaven were on the same page. We're fucking boxing and we're shooting. And you saw it work. And what you saw it work earlier in the stream was like Slaanesh and Greenskin. Like, okay, we're rushing together. We're doing a thing together. Trying to think of what else worked on stream. High Elves and Chaos worked because they both had a really strong mobility presence with strong single entities. So it was like synergy in this last game. I didn't see the synergy at all between what the Warriors of Chaos were trying to do and what the Chaos Dwarves were trying to do. It just felt like two different armies trying to do four different things. So, bit of a rip there. So Ra Unleashed did win. Is that going to spoil anything? No. There's faction war replay sitting right over here. Ra Unleashed won. He got 3 wins in a row. I offered him a DLC, but he already had them all. So we offered it to Dr. Nerd, who was the Chaos player in that last game, and Dr. Nerd asked for the Grom the Paunch versus Eltharion the Grim DLC. So that is the end of the stream. Congratulations to Ra Unleashed for winning that. It was a fun little event. I do want to run something like it in the future, where I have people schedule them as you can 2v2s and that kind of thing. That is nice. It's easy on people who play casually, and it's like, dude, I can't fucking do a 7-hour tournament on a Tuesday night. Like, that's not a real thing I can do. Then at least these fun little events keep people engaged. It was a pain in the dick to manage. And I'm not trying to throw shade at anybody. I'm just expressing my experience with it. So this was my perspective, and people can be confused, but it's like, I felt like I posted a thing and I said, all right, it's King of the Hill. The king can grab any partner they want at any time they want and play, and anybody can challenge them. First to 3 wins gets a DLC. They don't have to have the same partner. The Rat Ogre, the new player, is the only player that needs to stay the same. And then I pinned that. I pinned how the pick and ban works. I pinned what map it was, and I felt like every fucking day, man, every fucking day I would get questions in that chat or DMing me or something like, how does this King of the Hill work? Who's here? What's going on? How do I find a partner? How do I do this? And I'm like, dude, fucking read! I can't get messages at 3 a.m. asking me what the fuck. Did you read the pins? There's a pin? Yeah, there's a fucking pin, bro! You can't keep messaging me this shit. So it was a pain in the ass. And it was like, it's a fun event in theory, and I need to find out a better way to run it than having everybody ask me all the time to repeat the same fucking sentence. Ugh. It was a whole thing. And some of it's my fault, because there were legitimate things that people were asking, where they were like, how does army composition work with the rules? Like, does each army have to obey the rules, or do the armies together have to obey the rules? So, like, between the two of us, we can have 4 single entities, and between the two of us, we can have 12 ranged units. Like, those are good questions, but there were a bunch of questions of just, like, clearly people were confused. Clearly, what I thought was clear was not clear. Because if it was clear, then people wouldn't be asking me these questions, right? So that's the fairness angle. While I am frustrated about how many repeat questions I got of stuff that I know exactly where to find the information, clearly people weren't getting that information. So that's partially my fault, and I understand that. But it was so frustrating. You should probably use Cuden's addendums. Yeah, I don't know if those have been updated in a while. I don't know. Makes it more fair. So what were the rules for the King of the Hill? God damn it, Vanthus. No double undead? I mean, we didn't see any double undead this whole stream. I don't know. People generally seem to just be having fun with it, which is fine. If it was a little sweatier, maybe I would consider more strict rules. But yeah, it was just kind of a pain. And I know the other thing that was a lot of people were complaining about was like, if people wanted to participate, if the current king lives in Europe, let's say, they get off work, they win a game, they win a second game, and then they go to bed. Someone in North America gets home from work, and they're like, hey, I want to participate in this thing, and the king's currently asleep. Then those people got upset that they couldn't play at that exact moment, and I'm like, well, we'll just need someone that's more flexible in time zones to win, or sometimes that's just how it works. But people who wanted to participate and couldn't just got really frustrated, and that sucks. And then also, after Raw Unleashed won that third game, I think there was only 6 total 2v2s, and some people that wanted to participate were like, what, it's already over? I was like, I mean, yeah, you won 3. So, it was like, it's a fun event, but clearly there were some issues that I'm going to have to figure out before running it again. I liked the idea, but it was tough. Because you also don't want to set the bar too high. Like, 3 wins was clearly too easy to achieve, but I don't want to do like 5, because the shit could literally never end. And you do need the event to end before a patch, because apparently with CA's micro patches, where even a week is too long. That's kind of insane. Like, I got the last replay for this, I think, Thursday of last week. And then I scheduled the stream for my next available time, which was today. And already we had 2 different corrupted replays. Because those Ripperdactyls in the Lizardman game were just fucking sitting around, which is... I extremely doubt Sir Groot just left them sitting there. Especially since he was moving units that were right underneath them. Like, there's no way he missed them for that long. And as we saw with the Cool Umbrella and Raw Unleashed Tomb King's Nurgle game, everything about that was just fucked. Like, the end result was actually incorrect. So that's another problem with, like, extending this out, where it's like, yeah, people want to participate, but apparently, man, CA's going to keep micro-patching this game and breaking my replay, so I need events to finish up. And that's why I'm also worried about this faction war. You're sitting looking at all those replays. I'm worried those faction war replays are going to be fucked up, too. Nobody picked it. Could be super nasty. Double Undead can. I feel like in Warhammer 3 it's not nearly as good. Because Vampire Coast aren't nearly as good. Tomb Kings aren't nearly as good. Vampire Counts got nerfed into the dirt a bit. So I feel like Double Undead's not that bad. But we'll see. So yeah. Anyway, that was just some ranting at the end that I wanted to include. We'll think about hosting something like this again in the future. I clearly got some things to iron out. So if you have ideas, this is... The point of this ramble at the end was to say, if you have any ideas, feel free to stick them in the comments below the stream, and I'll check those out. It's a little more permanent of a place than just putting them on my Discord, where it can get quickly drowned out. Comments will just be here. So when I run this again, I can come back here and see what people thought about the problems. So the main 3 problems, to summarize this rambling, is people not understanding how a 2v2 King of the Hill works with... one player is important, the other player can be cycled out. Which maybe that's a problem, but scheduling with 2 people is really difficult. Duration of the event, based on 3 wins, but then if I increase that, it could go forever, or if I decrease it, we saw like this, only 6 total games were played. And then finally, what to do about those time zones. Like, what to do when the king is asleep. Because from my perspective, it's like, okay, well, let's just keep this chill. If the king's asleep, then you don't play, and it's pretty whatever. But clearly, people that wanted to play were frustrated by that approach. So, if you could think of anything to solve any of those 3 problems, all of those 3 problems, leave them in the comments. It would really help out. Because it proved to just be way more complicated of an event than I thought. So, kind of like, not to be an asshole, but when Raw won his 3rd game, I was like, good, good. This needs a rethink, but I don't want to cancel the event. So, like, please, someone just win. Because I was getting a lot of questions. Like, so many questions. Come up for work, I have, like, 15 DMs. Hey, what the fuck's going on with your 2v2 event? Dude, I don't know. Have I talked to you already? Are you asking me again, or are you a new person? It's all blurring together at this point. Anyway, man. I'm off back to work. Hopefully you guys have some good ideas. It was a fun event. Sorry to hear it was hard to manage, Graven. It's what happens. Like, it's frustrating, but it's not terrible. It was just, as an event organizer, sometimes you underestimate how complicated things are going to be, and then you get yourself in over your head. And then, like I said, you're in the middle of it, and you're like, well, what do? Do I finish out this event? and deal with all these problems, or do I change like mid-stride? So then when Raw and Umbrella won that third game, I was like, nice, I don't have to make the decision because they just fucking won. But it was pretty clear to me after game like 4, from the amount of messages I was getting and the amount of confusion that was in the chat, was like, I fucked something up here. All right, that's enough rambling. I'm probably just venting to avoid going back to work, but I do have to go. So, what's next on the docket? Umbrella's messaging me about Friday night fights. Umbrella, I currently have nothing on my calendar for Friday night fights for Friday, so I could probably host that, but I'll let you know after work. So I'll probably have a stream Friday. We do have a stream Saturday. Yeah. So Friday and Saturday, we got 2 streams for you guys. Probably doing Friday night fights, but I'll figure out the timing of that with Umbrella. All right? Get out of here. Shoot. Go on.